You are 80 years old, sitting on the edge of a sagging mattress in a room that smells like boiled cabbage and old dust when $85 million drops into your lap. For 45 years, you were a phantom. You were the guy who fixed the broken latch on the basement door. The guy who wore the same brown corduroy jacket until the elbows wore down to thin, shiny gauze. The guy whose own children forgot his birthday 3 years in a row. You spent 4 decades living in a 2-bedroom tract house in a town nobody visits unless their radiator explodes on the highway. Your life was measured in coupons clipped, generic coffee drank out of chipped mugs, and the dull, rhythmic hum of a refrigerator that sounded like it was dying a slow death in the corner of your kitchen. Then, the dirt spoke. Back in 1978, you bought 12 acres of scrub oak and jagged limestone out in the middle of nowhere for $400 at a county tax auction. You bought it because you thought maybe, one day, you'd build a hunting cabin there. You never did. You forgot about it. You paid the $32 a year in property taxes out of pure habit, tossing the county statements into a shoebox under your bed, alongside old receipts and yellowed newspaper clippings. Then a lithium consortium came through with a surveying team, followed by a multinational energy corporation with deep pockets and an insatiable appetite. They didn't just want your 12 acres, they needed them. It was the geographic heart of the largest untapped deposit in the state. When the corporate lawyers in $3,000 suits sat across from you in your cramped living room, stepping gingerly over the stain on the rug where the roof had leaked in 2009, they didn't haggle. They laid down a contract, $85 million net after taxes. Cash wire transferred directly into a private wealth management account at a bank you weren't even allowed to walk into without an appointment. Overnight, the world inverted. The first thing that changes isn't your life, it's the silence. For 20 years, your phone rang precisely twice a week. Once from a telemarketer selling robocalls for vinyl siding, and once from the pharmacy reminding you that your blood pressure medication was ready for pickup. Within 72 hours of the local paper printing a 3-paragraph human interest piece titled Local Octogenarian Land's Multi-million-dollar Land Deal, the silence dies forever. It starts with your eldest son, Marcus. Marcus hasn't spoken to you since your wife's funeral 8 years ago, a funeral he attended for precisely 20 minutes before claiming he had a crucial client dinner back in the city. Marcus had always looked at you like you were a bad smell he couldn't quite wash out of his clothes. Now, Marcus is at your door at 7 in the morning, carrying a paper bag full of warm, artisanal pastries from a bakery 40 miles away. He hugs you so hard you feel your brittle ribs creak. He cries, real, wet tears on the shoulder of your faded flannel shirt. "Dad," he sobs, clutching your bony shoulders. "I've been so blind. Work just took over my life. I've missed you so much. I can't sleep at night thinking about you living here all alone in this drafty house." Before you can even chew through a cherry croissant, your daughter, Sarah, arrives. Sarah, who spent the last decade sending you automated e-cards on Christmas that always managed to spell your name wrong. She brings her 3 kids, your grandchildren, whom you haven't seen since they were in diapers. They line up like reluctant soldiers called to attention. "Go on, Leo. Kiss Grandpa." Sarah pushes a 14-year-old boy forward. Leo looks at your liver spots and your yellowing teeth with a mixture of terror and sudden, calculated reverence. "I love you, Grandpa," the boy rehearses, his eyes darting down toward the brand new iPad he's holding, an iPad his mother clearly bought him on the way over to keep him compliant. Suddenly, you are the most beloved patriarch in the tri-state area. Your living room, previously occupied only by dust motes and the ghosts of your mediocre past, becomes a bustling hive of family devotion. They bring you homemade soups. They rub your arthritic shoulders with scented oils. They ask you deep, probing questions about your youth, laughing hysterically at jokes you didn't even mean to make. "Dad," Marcus says one evening, pouring you a glass of 20-year-old single malt scotch he bought with his own credit card as an investment in your relationship. "We were thinking, this house is a hazard for a man of your stature. The stairs are dangerous. Sarah and I were looking at a gated estate down near the lake. It has a guest house for us, so we can supervise your care 24 hours a day. We can sell our places, move in together as a family. like it should have always been. Sarah leans in, her eyes shining with a terrifying, predatory warmth. And the kid's dad? Leah wants to go to MIT. The tuition is astronomical, but with a family trust? Well, you know how important legacy is. You look at them through the haze of your cheap reading glasses. You see the twitch in Marcus's left eye when you drop a crumb on the floor. You see Sarah's gaze drift toward the bank statement sitting on the kitchen counter. You see your grandchildren looking at you, not as a grandfather, but as an ancient, wheezing lottery ticket that just needs to be cashed before the expiration date on your death certificate hits. They don't love you, they love the dirt under your fingernails because it finally turned to gold. They are waiting for you to die. They are sitting in your living room, counting down the ticks of your failing heart, calculating their share of the yield per beat. And in that moment, sitting on your lumpy sofa, surrounded by people who ignored you while you were starving for a simple phone call, a cold, glorious light turns on in your mind. You look Marcus dead in the eye, swallow the 20-year-old scotch, and smile. "That sounds wonderful," you say. "Let me handle the finances." You don't buy the house near the lake, you don't start a family trust. Instead, you wire $20 million to a private charter jet company, hire a personal physician who asks 0 questions as long as his retainer clears, and rent a penthouse suite on the top floor of the Palms in Las Vegas. When Marcus and Sarah show up at your house the following Tuesday with a real estate agent and a power of attorney document neatly tucked into a leather folder, they find the front door unlocked, the furniture left behind, and a sticky note on the refrigerator that reads, "Gone to work on my legacy." You enter Las Vegas at 80 years old, sitting in a velvet-lined wheelchair pushed by a 6'2" personal security guard named Big Mike, who earns $10,000 a week just to keep people from talking too loudly near your oxygen tank. You aren't there to invest. You aren't there to build a future. You have maybe 2 or 3 years left before your kidneys throw in the towel, and you'll damned well burn every single dollar on the altar of pure, unadulterated decadence before you let your dutiful children buy their lake houses. Your first stop is the high roller room at the Bellagio. You sit at a private blackjack table with a $500,000 credit line. You don't know the basic strategy. You don't care. You double down on 16, you hit on 20. The pit bosses watch you with a mix of horror and absolute, drooling ecstasy. The casino hosts hover like vultures wrapped in Italian silk, plying you with crystal decanters of $15,000 Macallan Lalique and trays of beluga caviar that tastes like salt and metal. You lose $2 million in 3 hours. When you drop the last $100,000 chip on the green felt and watch the dealer sweep it away with a wooden paddle, you don't flinch. You laugh. It is the loudest, craziest, most liberating sound that has come out of your throat in 50 years. The high isn't in winning. The high is in the annihilation of the wealth. Every $100,000 that vanishes into the casino vault is a kitchen remodel Marcus will never get to see. Every lost hand is a year of Ivy League tuition Sarah's kids will have to take out loans for. Word spreads through the strip like wildfire. There is an 80-year-old lunatic in a wheelchair handing out millions to anyone with a tray or a deck of cards. By week 2, your penthouse looks like a surrealist painting of ancient Roman excess. You spend $80,000 a night securing VIP tables at the most exclusive nightclubs, places where the music vibrates so hard it resets the rhythm of your pacemaker. You sit in the center booth, flanked by 6-foot-tall models in shimmering dresses who are 60 years younger than you. They crawl over your lap, smelling like expensive vanilla and coconut oil, kissing your wrinkled cheeks, pouring Dom Perignon directly down your chin. They call you daddy, they call you the king, they call you whatever you want, as long as you toss crisp $500 chips into their purses like confetti. Do you know they are fake? Of course you do. You aren't senile. But there is an honest, transactional integrity to a paid escort that your daughter Sarah could never hope to achieve. The girl sipping champagne on your lap doesn't pretend she loved you when you were broke. She isn't pretending she'll remember your name in 10 years. She wants the cash. You want the warmth of a human body next to your freezing old bones. And the transaction is clean, pure, and free of emotional blackmail. You buy a green Lamborghini Aventador. You can't drive it, your eyesight is too poor, and your feet are too numb to feel the pedals. So you pay a 22-year-old Russian model named Ekaterina $10,000 a day just to drive you up and down the Vegas Strip while you hang your liver-spotted hand out the window, dropping folded $1,000 bills onto the windshields of taxicabs. By month 3, the family discovers where you are. They don't call, they fly down. They burst into your suite at 3 in the afternoon. The room is a wasteland of decadent debris. Empty bottles of Louis XIII, half-eaten room service trays of lobster tail, cigar ash ground into the plush white carpet, and 3 women in silk robes sleeping off a 48-hour bender in the master bedroom. Marcus looks like he's having a stroke. Sarah looks like she's going to vomit. "Dad!" Marcus screams over the low thrum of the penthouse audio system. "What are you doing? What is this?" You are sitting in an armchair by the floor-to-ceiling window, wearing a tailored silk robe that cost more than your old house, puffing lazily on a Cuban cigar that your doctor strictly forbade. "I'm spending my money, Marcus," you say softly, exhaling a blue plume of smoke into the air-conditioned sky. "You've spent $12 million in 2 months!" Sarah shrieks, holding up a printout of your publicly tracked casino markers she managed to bribe an accountant to get. $12 million. Do you know what that could have done for our family? For your grandchildren's future? "I do," you say smoothly. "It could have bought them a free ride. It could have enabled the same apathy you showed me for 20 years. But instead, it bought me a very nice night at the roulette table on Thursday." "You're incompetent," Marcus yells, his face turning a deep, dangerous purple. "You've lost your mind. We are going to court. We are going to get power of attorney. We'll have you declared unfit." You reach onto the side table and pick up a thick bound folder. You toss it onto the glass coffee table between you. "Go ahead," you say. "That's a full psychiatric evaluation completed yesterday by the head of neuropsychology at Johns Hopkins. Cost me $200 grand to fly him out. I passed with flying colors. I'm sane, Marcus. Sane enough to know that every penny I blow on red at the Venetian is a penny you don't get to fight over when I'm in a pine box." Sarah collapses into a chair, bursting into furious, jagged tears. "How can you be so cruel? We are your blood." You set your cigar down in a crystal ashtray. You lean forward, letting the harsh Vegas sunlight hit your ancient, wrinkled face. "Where was blood when my wife died?" you ask, your voice dropping to a low, quiet whisper that cuts through the room like a razor. "Where was blood on my 75th birthday when I ate a microwave dinner alone in the dark? Where was blood when I couldn't lift the salt shaker because my hands were swollen with arthritis? You didn't care if I lived or starved in that house, Sarah. You didn't care until the dirt under my feet turned into cash." You stand up, leaning heavily on your golden cane. You point toward the double doors of the suite. "Get out," you say, "or I'll spend another $1 million hiring security to throw you into the street." They leave, but they don't give up. Over the next 6 months, the legal battles rage. They sue you, they try to freeze your accounts, they try to claim elder abuse by the casino. Every time they file a motion, you hire a legal team that charges $1,200 an hour per associate to crush them in court. You spend $4 million just on legal fees, purely for the joy of watching their high-priced lawyers get shredded by your vastly superior, insanely expensive defense team. Meanwhile, the party continues. You rent out an entire casino floor in Monaco for a weekend. You hire an orchestra to play Beethoven while you play high-stakes baccarat in a velvet tuxedo. You buy a 100-foot yacht you don't even like, anchor it off the coast of Cannes, invite 40 strangers from a local beach club on board, throw 20 cases of vintage champagne into the ocean just to watch the bubbles rise, and sell the yacht 3 weeks later for half of what you paid for it. You spend money with the ferocious, terrifying urgency of a man who knows his clock is running out of sand. You buy $200,000 watches and leave them on nightstands for hotel maids. You tip bartenders with pink slips to sports cars. You host lavish, absurd dinners where the menu consists of beef wagyu dusted in 24-karat edible gold, served to washed-up gamblers, high-end escorts, and washed-out celebrities who toast to your health like you're a living god. You become a legend, the grandfather of Sin City, the man who beat the system by realizing the money wasn't meant to be saved, it was meant to be executed. 18 months after the lithium company bought your land, you are back in a hospital room. Not a cheap county ward, but a private 5-star suite in a top-tier medical facility in Los Angeles. The walls are covered in mahogany paneling. There is a grand piano in the corner. The doctors come in, check the monitors, look at your charts, and shake their heads mournfully. Your heart is tired. The liver is protesting the years of scotch. The kidneys are giving up the ghost. You have, at best, 48 hours. Your wealth manager comes in carrying a thin leather briefcase. He looks tired but respectful. "Sir," he says quietly, opening the file. "I've completed the final accounting, as you requested." "Give me the final damage," you rasp, your voice thin and dry as dry leaves. "You started 18 months ago with $85 million, the manager says, running a finger down the ledger. "After the legal fees, the casino markers, the real estate liquidations, the gifts, the private jets, the jewelry, and the hotel bills, you have precisely $412.16 left in your primary account." You close your eyes for a second. A deep, profound sense of peace washes over your tired body. $400, just enough to cover your cremation and a cheap wooden box. "Perfect," you whisper. "Notify the family." An hour later, the door opens. Marcus and Sarah walk in. They look haggard. They've spent the last year and a half living in a state of perpetual rage and anxiety, watching their prospective inheritance get pulverized into thin air day by day. But there is a small, sick spark of hope in their eyes as they step up to your bed. They think maybe there's something left. Maybe a secret account, maybe a hidden property, maybe a deathbed confession of love and a handwritten will. "Dad," Sarah says, her voice trembling as she takes your limp, cold hand. "We're here. We heard. We came as fast as we could." Marcus steps up to the other side of the bed. "Dad, despite everything, we just wanted to be here at the end. We just want to make sure things are settled." You open your eyes slowly. You look at your son. You look at your daughter. "It's settled," you murmur. Marcus leans down, his eyes gleaming with suppressed desperation. "The estate, Dad. The remaining funds. Who did you leave the executor rights to? Is there a lawyer we need to call?" You look at the wealth manager standing in the corner. He nods subtly, steps forward, and hands Marcus a single sheet of paper. Marcus snatches it. Sarah leans over his shoulder, her eyes frantically scanning the page. They read the top line, "Total remaining estate assets, $412.16. They read the bottom line, where you have explicitly designated the beneficiary of your remaining funds. The Las Vegas Stray Dog Rescue Shelter. The room goes dead silent. The silence stretches, heavy and suffused with the scent of sterile antiseptic and cheap ambition dying a sudden, agonizing death. Sarah's mouth opens, but no sound comes out. Her face contorts into a mask of pure, unadulterated fury. You blew it all of it?" Marcus drops the paper. The look of tender, filial concern vanishes from his eyes instantly, replaced by a dark, venomous disgust. "You crazy old bastard," he spits, his voice shaking with contempt. "You spent $85 million on trash, gamblers, and whores? You left your own flesh and blood with nothing?" You look at them, really look at them, one last time. You see the truth stripped bare. No fake affection, no cooked meals, no grandkid hugs, just pure, unadulterated greed, finally unmasked. You slowly raise your frail, shaking hand and pull the oxygen mask down off your face. You lean back against the crisp white pillows, feel the rhythm of your heart slowing down to its final, quiet beat, and look your son in the eye. "I didn't leave you nothing, Marcus," you say, a faint, beautiful smile playing on your cracked lips. "I left you the memory of what $85 million looks like when it goes up in smoke." You close your eyes, take a deep, final breath of cold air, and let the darkness take you, listening to the sound of your children screaming at an empty bed.